What is up, fellow movers, and welcome back to the channel. Today I will be talking about the one-arm handstand again and focusing on common mistakes that I see when people are approaching the one-arm handstand. Mistake number one, you are ego training. I've said it before and I'm gonna say it again. Ego lifting of the arm is single-handedly, you see what I did there? The most devastating thing to your one-arm handstand progress. So don't be throwing your arm up when you're not in balance. Remember to build a stable base with your finger-supported one-arm handstand before even thinking about it. Every now and then you can feed your ego by just trying to balance on one arm, but in the long run, try and stick to the progressions that you can hold for several seconds. Preferably at least something like 10 seconds, and build your way up. Build your way from several finger support to 2 finger support, 1 finger support, then straighten your arm and sort of dab in the ground. You need to be able to balance the position you're training with. That's the whole point. Otherwise you will not really be training the balance of the one-arm handstand. And talking about ego training, a lot of people feel that the wall is below them. Don't be feeling that. The wall is your best friend when talking about handstands, both regular handstands and one-arm handstand. The wall can teach you a lot. It is a friend that will always be there for you, and it's a friend that will stand tall and stand strong wherever you are, and it will always be the same. So use the wall, and there's a bunch of different drills you can use the wall for. I will talk about one of them later, but it can help you realize the position that you need to be in. It can help you prevent the rotation of your hips or rotation of your shoulders that will have you rotate and fall. And it can help you focus on very specific things so that you have the capacity to think about these small things that matter in a one-arm handstand. Because when you're not using the wall, you're basically only thinking one thing: don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. So using the wall, you can sort of get this away and focus on relaxing your elbow. You can focus on pushing tall with your shoulder. You can focus on shoulder rotation. You can focus on pelvis tilt. All of these things that you need to focus on one thing at a time. You can introduce them first against the wall, and then you can introduce them into your freestanding training once you are ready for it. Another very common mistake is that people start training the one-arm handstand before they are ready. And by ready I mean you should have a super solid handstand. You should be in total control of your shoulder position. You should be in total control of your leg positioning. You should be able to move your legs around without losing your shoulder position. You should be able to do tuck handstands. You should have a super solid straddle handstand. And you should be strong enough because I mean the one-arm handstand is not really the strength that holds people back, but you should be strong enough to elevate your shoulder in the position and hold it there without feeling like you are dying. Common mistake I see out there is that you think the full one-arm handstand is easier than the straddle one-arm handstand because you feel it and it feels easier. And I've been there, I know how it is. And the reason why you're feeling it being easier in a full is because you don't have full control over your leg movements in the one-arm handstand position, or in the handstand position in general. And I can guarantee you that it will take you a lot longer to learn the one-arm handstand in a full position than it will to first get super comfortable with a super nice straddle position in a regular handstand and then start training one-arm handstand with your perfect straddle position. And with perfect straddle position, I don't mean you should be able to do a full split. I certainly cannot do that. But you should have a very tight position. You should have a straddle position where your legs are as wide as you are able to, and in a tight position where they're not wobbling around. And for most people that aren't too flexible, that means having a slight pike in your hip. But most hand balancers do have this. It's just less visible the more flexible you are. So you will need slightly more flexion in your shoulders, and you will need to tilt your pelvis over your shoulders so you get a slight pike position in order to get your legs as low as possible and in order to hold this position tightly. And to help you in the beginning, it can be nice to sort of flex your hip flexors and think that you are always trying to push your legs down into the ground, just to sort of lock your legs into the position. So this is definitely something you should be working on if you want to make your journey towards the one-arm handstand easier. Perhaps the most common way of falling out of the one-arm handstand is by your legs starting to rotate so that you fall out of the position. And there could be a lot of reasons for this, but it's something that I think everyone who starts learning the one-arm handstand experiences. And it can be so frustrating. And it is usually about the shoulder positioning, and that you're unable to keep your shoulder in the correct position, and you're falling down, and your rotation starts in the rotation starts in your shoulder because you can't hold the position, and then your legs start rotating with one leg going over your body, and this starts like a chain reaction of bad things for your one-arm handstand. One remedy for this disastrous rotation can be using the wall, actually. So you need to enter a wall-assisted one-arm handstand, or wall-assisted and finger-assisted one-arm handstand, and you need to be as far away from the wall. It depends on your flexibility and your straddle position, but you should be in a position where your toes are just barely touching the wall. So when you're leaning over to a one-arm handstand, in this wall-supported one-arm handstand, your toes should always, both of your toes should always touch the wall. And if they do, you know that they are in a right position and nothing starts rotating. And as soon as usually your back leg starts lifting off the wall, you need to figure out what you can do to bring it back. And you need to keep it back by using the same muscles. It's usually about shoulder rotation, usually about locking your shoulder in an internal rotation, meaning your elbows are rotated towards each other, or your elbows are facing your head more or less, and keeping this position as well as keeping your straddle position kind of tight. But it could be different things depending on different people, so just figure out what's making your leg lifting off the wall and figure out a way to get it back into the wall. So this way you can use the wall to make sure that your position is right, and you prevent yourself from doing this rotation. Another very common mistake in the one-arm handstand is that you think you will have it before summer. I don't know how many times I've said that to myself. I'm not sure how many times I've heard other people say it, but it's usually not true. I'm sorry to say, guys, but if you want to learn the one-arm handstand, you're in it for the long run. It takes a lot of time, and you just need to learn to enjoy the process and just expect it to take a long time, because it will. It depends very much on where you're starting from, obviously, but in most cases it will take years to achieve. And that's just something you got to live with. and look forward to the day where you can effortlessly stand on one arm. If you're not aware of it, I have my own app now, so you can check that out if you want pre-made programs for handstands and for bodyweight training. And for handstands, I have both programs for those that are just starting their handstand journey, as well as intermediate practitioners and people starting the road towards the one-arm handstand. So be sure to check that out. There's a free trial period, and it's not really that expensive.